The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Welcome to it. Fridays here. It's Hail Varsity Radio Road Show Friday here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We got the trifecta for you: the road show, the watch party here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, then the reaction show, Real Red Reaction. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Connor Clark. You're invited up here to La Vista, and if you've not been, it's real easy to get to, just off the Interstate 127-44 Westport Parkway in La Vista, snuggled in between Embassy Suites and Cabela's. So you're invited out, and there's not a bad seat in the joint. And that bang bang shrimp we crave. We'll have to get an order in, order ahead of time. Elijah, you're grinning here. And Connor Clark back in studio. Our different job has made his way up here. So pretty awesome. We're loaded up, ready to talk Nebraska and Illinois. Get to your thoughts and comments as well on the StreamYard. Can watch the show, Hail Varsity YouTube channel, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter feed. And as always, can dial up 489-1240, 489-1240 or 800-825-5865. We'll spend some time with Jacob Padilla, get his thoughts on the game tonight, some thoughts on Big Ten Media Days for Hoops coming up around the corner as Kisei Tominaga, some early preseason awards. That is what's in store in hour one. In hour two, Bill Doleman, Pride of Fairbury, going to be with us, NBC Sports, the professor. Special guest, as he'll talk a little bit of Nebraska and a little bit of Red River. Hall of Fame coach Barry Switzer will join us. Coach Switzer at 5:25. He's imaginary and wears red. The infamous Clauseborne at 5:40 for the Friday forecast. Guys, let's get to it. It's been deemed, and again, Doleman should trademark this, as Find Out Friday. What are we going to find out? What's the old confidence level? You bump into folks, hey, where you leaning, who you betting? And the world of college football fans are like, dude, I'm not putting a dime on this one. I just want to see what happens. And Illinois could go south, and Nebraska, you're not sure. You feel like they're going to react the right way. Matt Rule hopes they react the right way, but it's pretty critical pivot point for both teams. But it feels monstrous from a energy level and just an apathy breaking point for Nebraska's fan base.
Yeah, and Find Out Friday is kind of the perfect term for what this is because, I mean, Schmitty, if we're being honest, I mean, the term that everyone uses is F around and find out. That's what you're going to do. In Nebraska against Michigan on Saturday, they were effing around.
Oh, were they?
I mean, Matt Rule said as much in the post-game presser on Monday, as well as having the full pad practice on Sunday. Now we get to see how they respond. We get to find out what this Husker football team is made of on a Friday night. And Matthew chimes in off the top rope. Nebraska might have more than just Illinois to play against tonight, as he said. Did Dick Butkus really have to pick this week? I hope Illinois doesn't get any help from beyond the grave from a literal legend.
I mean, you walk out and the Butkus statue is there. We were there in 2021, and Butkus was there. Now it's the one of the statues, I think Andy Kennedy at Channel 7 tweeted this out earlier. They've got the Butkus jersey on. Clearly, there was some divine intervention last night with a 20-point win and outright cover beyond for Connor Clark's Chicago Bears. Who's that squad last night on Thursday Night Football? I was kind of talking up Washington all week to Elijah just based on how they played Philly. Next thing you know, Josh Fields found
Justin Fields.
Sorry, yes.
Wow, the Bears are that forgettable.
This is a college football show. Let's note that.
I know who the starting quarterback is. Justin Fields says you have terrors of 2019 if you're a Nebraska fan with Fields. But Fields looked great, and Chicago did their thing. And the old linebacker, is he going to go 2 for 2 with his squads this week? You're right with the comment from Matthew. But, guys, it really is interesting. And our friend Brady kind of slipped this to us this week, and he had a really poignant thought about just where things go with a rule rebuild. And you have a pivot point in the season. What happens with rural teams if and when they get blown out? How do they respond? And you didn't have a great year one in Baylor. You didn't have a great year one in Temple. But in year one at Baylor, he immediately kind of shook things up, and the team was more competitive after a blowout. The rest of the season, and you're looking for beyond competitive tonight. If you're a Nebraska fan, you got to have this win.
And the one real blowout that Matt Rule faced in year one at Baylor was a road game at Oklahoma State.
And he cited that.
59-16, Oklahoma State got the win. What does Baylor turn around and do the next week? Well, they're taking on the number 23 team in the country at home, West Virginia, and they lose by 2 points. But it was a vast improvement from the performance that you saw the week before from the Baylor Bears. And you wonder if Nebraska can do the same thing. I mean, the mystique of going full pads on a Sunday, getting the team fired up. It's on a short week. Can you have that short memory and kind of throw Michigan to the side, say that's not who we are. We had a show on a Friday night who we are. Nebraska's got the chance tonight. And I think this game, as we've kind of laid out all week long, is a real statement game to show what this team is going to be made of the rest of the year. Are you going to roll over and say, you know what, Matt Rule in year one, he doesn't win games, we're going to follow that pattern? Or do you say, you know what, we're going to kick the pattern of Matt Rule not being great in year one, and we're going to prove that this is different because we're Nebraska, and Matt Rule has said this feels more like a year two than a year one before the season started. Can you go out and prove that against Illinois? This is a team that Nebraska should be beating, not just from the fact that you're Nebraska and they're Illinois, but from what Illinois fields this season. Illinois is not a very good football team. Now, Nebraska, not great either, but Illinois is not very good, and this is a team that you should be beating. Can you cut some of those self-inflicted mistakes? Can you get some wins on special teams? Can your defense come back and play with some juice in front of a crowd that might not be amped up in Champaign, Illinois on a Friday night? All these are questions that we're going to find out tonight, but they're questions that you would think wouldn't be questions at Nebraska. They are, but it's your first chance to start turning things around and making it right and saying, you know what, we're Nebraska, you're Illinois. What does Nebraska do against Illinois? They go win. And that hasn't been the case over the past couple of years with that 500 record since you joined the Big Ten, but it's your first chance under Matt Rule to kind of flip the script and prove that, hey, Nebraska is not a laughing stock anymore. We're a team you have to prepare for, and we're a team that is going to play you very hard. If Nebraska plays hard, beats the physicality of Illinois tonight, I think they should win this football game based on talent. That is assuming that they don't have self-inflicted mistakes. But both of these teams, -6 in turnover margin this season, they've both been beating themselves. Can Nebraska just go and do what it takes to get it done and get yourself moving back towards a 6-win season?
Connor, both teams are really bad at getting off the field defensively on third down.
I mean, these teams, essentially, it's like looking in a mirror.
It is. And you might break that mirror if you're one of the fan bases. You made a point of what Nebraska should be. They have not been, clearly, and hence the transition. But guys, Illinois has had more guys developed and go to the NFL on the lines of scrimmage, and clearly in their back seven last season. They've been the more physical football team than Nebraska. And kind of they've been a team that's been a better running football team. So the fact that you roll the helmets out there and, Nebraska, that's not what it's been in the Big Ten the last couple of years. Illinois has pretty much dominated Nebraska the last 4 times they faced.
Well, you and I talked about it yesterday when we were getting off of the morning show, and it was like, yeah, this Illinois team has, beaten your rear end the past 3 years physicality-wise, and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, this has been the more physical team, whether that was under Lovie Smith or if that's under the pig farmer right now. So, I mean, it has been pretty surprising to watch, I guess, at the start, but now it's kind of the trademark of Illinois football. Now, here's really the question, and the number that jumps out to me is Illinois has given up 21 sacks this year.
Yes.
So how is that front seven going to respond from a lackluster effort last week? Now, I know it was Michigan. Their offensive line is absolutely fantastic, but there are people saying that they didn't really look that ready, right? So how is that front seven going to respond here tonight? I think that the defense absolutely needs to force a couple of short fields, whether that's a turnover or a stop on 4th down or something. This is a team that throws picks. Altmaier's thrown 7 of them this year. Granted, 4 of them came in one game, but it was against a Big Ten opponent. So your defense has to get the ball into their hands. They have to make Illinois force turnovers and force a short field for this offense. Now, you don't know if you're going to see a combination of Sims and Harburg or not. Reports are saying that we probably will. Who knows what that's going to look like? So I think in order for Nebraska to be successful here tonight, they need a couple of short fields. That will make me feel really confident, at least more so than I am right now, for Nebraska to try and win this game. But I think we all know this. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be Big Ten football at its finest on a cold Friday night in the middle of the state of Illinois. So really anything could happen. One of my good friends said this has a very Rutgers feel of last year. So we could see a very similar game here tonight. And I'm really interested to see what goes down.
Well, it's almost a carbon copy of that Rutgers game last year where it's on a Friday night. You're not expecting a juiced-up crowd on the road. We're here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, and people aren't feeling great about what Nebraska showed the week before. It's almost an identical story. Can Nebraska flip that script? Can they get some big plays? And something to watch for tonight is something Schmidt and I were talking on the way up here. Nebraska with the punting and the kicking hasn't looked perfect. Has looked a little bit better.
This is a money stat.
You've had some worries.
It's frightening.
Though. There's been some moments where you've said, man, Colorado, man, Michigan, man, Northern Illinois once. They were pretty close to blocking that punt. And Illinois, number 1 in the country right now. I saw this on Twitter. I can't remember which account it was, put it out there. But number 1 in the country right now. They have 4 blocked kicks and punts on the season. Wow. 4 in 5 games. That's a concern. If Illinois can block 1 field goal or punt, their win probability goes up massively. That's just been true in college football for years now. If you can block a kick, if you can block a field goal, I think it's something like 30% your win probability goes up if you're able to do that in a game. Something to watch out for tonight. If Illinois blocks a kick or blocks a punt, sets up their offense with a short field, danger time for Nebraska.
Well, what happened the last time they were in Champaign? You had a safety on a kickoff. And then you had the following year a punter fake it and run for about 40 yards. So special teams has shown up. And what happened? Going back to the original point that we touched on here about this pivot moment for Nebraska's season, you have that Oklahoma State reference where in year 1 they blew out Baylor and Rule, and how did the team respond? The freshmen got more reps and experience. What did we hear a lot about this week, guys? We heard a lot about Cam Lenhart coming back, which is big. We heard a lot about Van Poppel. We heard a lot about Princewell. So those are 3 guys, and they're really excited about the defensive line. Might see Lloyd tonight, more action from him.
He got his first catch against Michigan last week.
And then, of course, you got Fleeks that we'll see what his usage looks like. It looked great from the 1 carry for 74 yards against Michigan. But we're here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in La Vista, 12744 West Parkway in La Vista. Again, just kind of around the corner from Embassy Suites. Watch party is going to get rocking after we finish up. Kickoff at 7. And then Real Red Reaction follows here from Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. So, yeah, Find Out Friday is very real. What do we find out about Nebraska's offensive line? I'm interested there because Illinois, despite 2 defensive tackles that'll play on Sundays, have been getting bludgeoned by teams' run games. And it's not just Coach Lance in Kansas that did it. Everyone's had a pretty good day running the football. I'd still like to see, as much as you want to be that fourth quarter toughest man in the bar and hammer away, I'd still like to see Nebraska find a way to either, if it's Heinrich, create a little bit. He's pretty good on the move. If you see some of Sims, use his legs, of course, as well. But get the passing game going as well. Keep hammering, yes. Be a run-first football team. But what's really deflating is if you can't do it tonight. If you can't do it tonight against an Illinois team where everyone's had their turn running for, it feels like, a couple hundred yards. Yeah. And that's just it. And find your tight ends, too. I mean, Illinois gets beat up, at least they have this season, by tight ends. Tight ends have had good days against the Illinois defense, and it could be a breakout game. He's had a good season so far, but for Fedoni to go off, and Nebraska desperately wants to get some of that play action going.
Well, just something to keep Illinois from being able to put 8 guys in the box. You saw it from Michigan. You saw it from Louisiana Tech. You even saw it a bit from Northern Illinois. You definitely saw it against Colorado. Teams understand the game plan against Nebraska's offense. We're going to put 8 guys in the box. We're going to dare you to beat us over the top. Thus far, Nebraska hasn't been able to beat anybody over the top. Can maybe a return of Jeff Sims be able to open that up a little bit for your offense? He's got a bit of a bigger arm. The decision-making is the big problem with Sims right now. But if you can show a deep threat, or at least some sort of threat of the passing attack, can you force teams to not put 8 guys in the box? Because that's been the game plan to beat Nebraska, and teams have been able to at least slow down the Nebraska rushing attack by doing that. And until Nebraska can force teams to not put 8 guys in the box, it's going to continue to be a problem.
Well, Josh nails it here. Nebraska wins today. It'll change the whole season. Totally agree with that. Everything, and I mean everything, depends on what will happen tonight. No pressure.
It's not wrong, though.
No pressure. And you need to calm your nerves. Come get a cold one here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. You're invited out. We're in La Vista. Just the first part of this triple play for us. You've got the pregame here with Hail Varsity Radio, the watch party at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, and then Real Red Reaction. Jacob Padilla's on the way. Barry Switzer next hour.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hurrdat Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Mammograms, and so much more. That's what our Women's Health Center at CHI Health St. Elizabeth offers you. More spa-style extras like front door parking, warm robes, refreshments, and extended hours for your next mammogram. More peace of mind with the area's only advanced imaging for dense breasts, plus a multidisciplinary team of cancer experts if needed. Our Women's Health Center at St. Elizabeth is more than mammograms. It's complete care for you. Learn more at chihealth.com/Women's Health Center.
This season, your coffee orders are getting warmer and your outfits are getting cozier. The world keeps changing, and so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're one of the best ways to help protect yourself against COVID-19. You can get a COVID-19 shot at the same visit as a flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov. And don't forget to get extra cinnamon spice. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss, even when you monitor your credit. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Thanks for hanging out. Hail Varsity Radio Roadshow. We're here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in La Vista. Watch Party follows us as we wrap up at 6. And then Nebraska-Illinois. Jacob Padilla with us from Hail Varsity at Jacob Padilla _ where you follow him. Jacob, a lot going on as it is been deemed Find Out Friday all week. And what do you think we find out? We'll just start broad there. Where are you leaning with this Nebraska-Illinois matchup? Can you tell the rest of Nebraska football fan base what will happen tonight?
No, I cannot. At this,
good answer.
Yeah, it does seem like they're getting a couple guys like Cameron Lenhart maybe back in the mix. That should help a little bit. I don't think Illinois' offensive line has been particularly good this year, so that is a weakness that Nebraska should be able to exploit. But in terms of what we're going to get out of this Nebraska offense, I've got no idea at this point. But I guess that's the thing. Rule put it on like, hey, watch us. We'll just go out there and show you what we're made of, and we'll have to wait to see what that is. Again, I don't know. I think it's still going to be Harburg. It seems like at this point. I think it is interesting the way they handled that. Where the initial, like with the Jess Sims thing, initially said, oh, it might be a high ankle sprain, but then they backed off it, right? Said, oh, it wasn't that bad, but then it's basically been treated like a high ankle sprain. Like the recovery time kind of falls in line with a high ankle sprain. So that's, I guess we'll see kind of, I don't know, whenever he gets fully healthy, then Rule will face a decision, but for the time being, it's Harburg, and we'll see if they can find something that worked a little better than last week against that fearsome Michigan front.
Jacob, have you ever in your life experienced a high ankle sprain? Is that anything you've ever dealt with? Because I've always heard of it. I always got like the normal ankle sprain. I never quite.
It's an offensive lineman saying, yeah, no one ever chopped me down.
Oh, I broke an ankle. I never got the high ankle sprain.
You're worse.
It's a weird concept to think about because it's so high up on your leg. How do you sprain that? But I don't know. I
don't typically go to the doctor when I injure myself. So I have no idea what kind of ankle sprains I've been through. I've rolled the ankle several times, but I doubt any of them were the high ankle variety. But I can't definitively say that. But yeah, it sounds like a very painful thing, and I think that the bigger issue is just how long it takes to fully heal, where you can feel better and then you step the wrong way and then bam, it hurts again. So we've seen it pop up throughout. I think sticking with that probably would have kind of alleviated some of the fan discussion around it. Like if you had just said, stuck with it, yeah, that's what it is. And the typical timeline for a high ankle, I don't know if they're trying to get the opposing game plan or the opposing teams to have to spend time game planning for potentially seeing Sims, if that was part of kind of the way they've handled this, or what the deal is. But if it really was a high ankle sprain, then nothing we've seen is out of the ordinary so far.
Jacob Padilla is with us on Hail Varsity Radio, and tonight, Jacob, is a loss the difference between Nebraska making a bowl game and not making a bowl game this year?
It's the first of those. Well, I guess Minnesota probably could have been kind of one of those games. It's like, that's the thing, like with the way the kind of where the Big Ten West is right now, there are a lot of those games where it could end up being the one that swings you one way or the other, because there's so many toss-ups. So it would be very hard to see them making a bowl game without winning this one, but then they also have to win 3 more after that to get there as well. And a lot of those games will be similar where, all right, once you get that under your belt, the next one is, okay, this is the one there that could determine their bowl eligibility. So it's part of a larger picture where, yeah, there aren't any gimmies left on the schedule, but there are a lot of games that, hey, if Nebraska finds a way to play well and put some things together, these are games they could win. So it's just one of a lot of these where, yeah, it's the opponent's vulnerable if Nebraska can get its own things together.
Jacob Padilla is with us. We're here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. And Jacob, pretty interesting when you look at both these teams statistically. trouble on third down. Illinois trouble stopping the run. Nebraska wants to win that way. And let's be positive for a moment with, I guess, Harburg and even Sims, if he's ready to go. You see a little bit of him, and I don't anticipate quarterback musical chairs, but both guys can do some good things for you. And this isn't the same defense that Illinois had last year or even 2 years ago. I mean, it's real vulnerable, and I feel like Illinois is just kind of gauging their body language the last couple of weeks. They've looked like a team that may be ready to check out on their head coach. I'm interested to see Nebraska's response to the challenge from Matt Rule.
Yeah, and that is interesting, kind of the matchups here where Illinois' secondary was so good last year. Obviously, we see what Witherspoon's doing right now as a rookie. You lose your coordinator and then you lose difference makers in that back end. That could be a point of weakness. But then again, that's not an area that Nebraska has been equipped to take advantage of so far this year in terms of making completions down the field. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they choose to attack this this Illinois team. Obviously, they've shown weaknesses in a lot of different areas there, just going through a rebuild year, coming off of a really strong performance last season. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what they come out with in terms of the game plan. We know what the state of their backfield is right now. We know what the state of their wide receiver core is right now. We obviously have seen the quarterback. I thought Harburg settled in and continues to, outside of kind of the ones batting down, some of the intermediate passing and the short passing, he's done a good job of, just hasn't been able to complete anything downfield. But I thought he stood in there and made some decent throws last week. He wasn't necessarily the reason they couldn't score against Michigan. It was just kind of more of a total team thing there in that regard. So, looking forward to seeing kind of the game plan this week and, all right, which of these guys are ready to kind of step up and take advantage of a defense that does look vulnerable.
Jacob Padilla joins us here on a Find Out Friday. We're going to find out a lot about this Husker football team tonight at 7 as they take on Illinois. And Jacob, let's switch it up here and let's talk some Husker basketball. Keisei Tominaga today, preseason All Big Ten, and Husker fans have seen the shooting. I think a lot of them saw what he did for Team Japan this summer. And I want to get your thoughts just on Keisei Tominaga, his importance to this Husker basketball team next season, and what you think he can do, and really what the Husker basketball team as a whole can do. It's almost time for us to start setting expectations for this team. And it's a big year for Hoiberg, a big year for Tominaga, and I just want to get your thoughts on the season that's shaping up for Husker basketball.
Yeah, I think that honor kind of reflects the respect that he earned from people around the conference last year, whether it be media, coaches, for that run that he went on, and kind of reflects that, hey, it wasn't a flash in the pan where he just got hot and hit some shots. Like, he was legitimately a headache for opposing defenses to try to deal with and to shut down. And Nebraska needs him to carry that into this year. And I think a strong summer of continuing to kind of polish up, hone his all-around game. Obviously, we know what he can do as a shooter, and the key is to continue to find ways to kind of pull out counters when teams do try to take away his greatest strengths. And that was part of what he did down the stretch last year. And I think that the international experience allowed him to continue to get more comfortable with that, whether it's putting the ball on the deck, whether it's moving the ball to somebody else once he draws the second defender, those types of things, just kind of rounding out his game. And now he's got other guys that can take some pressure off him, with a guy like Bryce Williams out there that can score on and off the ball. Obviously, we know they added Jerron Coleman late. They're going to run the offense through Rink Mass as initiator, both in the post and from the high post, like Derek Walker last year. And I think I'm sure those two are kind of trying to build out some of that same chemistry we saw between Tominaga and Walker last year. Mass can make some of those same passes, some of those same reads where Keisei catches the defense overplaying him. He's going to back cut that thing every single time. So that I think they're going to be more well-rounded. They're going to have more scoring threats around Tominaga, and that'll allow him to be kind of more effective and be the guy where you can rely on him consistently to give you those 15 to 20 points.
Jacob, a guy who wasn't on that list for the Huskers and somebody I'm really high on is Jamarcus Lawrence. What kind of jump do you expect him to make this season?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of, I think a lot of Nebraska fans are really excited about some of the things he showed down the stretch. I think a lot of them already kind of had him penciled in as kind of one of those key guys, even moving into this year. We'll see kind of if he's ready to make that kind of leap. They obviously added Coleman. It seems like the plan is he's going to have the ball in his hands more. They're kind of developing him as a lead ball handler, where he's mostly been an off-ball guy throughout high school and last year for Nebraska. Getting a little bit more comfortable where he's finding that mindset of, I get at the point when you're an off-ball guy, like your job is basically catch and score. You got an open shot, take it. You got a driving lane, put it on the deck, get downhill and go make a play. Now, when you're the guy bringing the ball up, you've got to kind of find that balance between, okay, I need to put pressure on the defense myself, and I need to keep other guys involved. I got to understand where that line is, where I'm being a threat myself, but I'm keeping everybody else involved. I'm getting everybody open. It's just kind of that mindset of making the right play there. And it's a little different in that role. And that's kind of what he's looking to develop this year. He's got to make his free throws. That would be a big first step from last year to this year, is knocking down those free throws, because he was a liability late in games because for whatever reason, just couldn't put him in. I think he's a guy that they're going to want out there late games because of his ability to make an impact on both ends of the court. And that is something too, where I think I would expect Coleman to kind of be the starting point guard, which is the way they brought him in at that point. But Lawrence is a guy that he's, I think, probably their best defensive or perimeter defender. And when you start a guy like Keisei Tominaga out there, it's good to have defensive versatility next to him. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what the lineups are, what the minutes are for him, because he does bring a little something different than the other options they have in the backcourt there. So he'll definitely be a key piece for them. It's just a matter of, okay, consistency-wise, where is he as a sophomore? Is he knocking that shot down at 40%? Is he making good decisions? And is he continuing to kind of hold up defensively? If so, then you're going to see him out there for as many minutes as he can handle.
Jacob Padilla with us from Hail Varsity at Jacob Padilla _. Jacob, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for a few minutes with us, bud.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
It's Mummy Money time at KFOR. $2,000 is up for grabs right now by entering this hour's Mummy Money word at KFORnow.com. Here's this hour's winning word.
This hour's word is siren. S-I-R-E-N. Siren.
Enter the Mummy Money winning word right now at KFORnow.com. And you could be our next $2,000 winner.
Husker fans, it's time to get real. Whatever is needed following each Husker football game with the Real Red Reaction Show. Immediately after each game, we go live for your unbridled opinions on KFOR and on the KFOR Facebook page.
Do you need fast, reliable internet from a company you can trust? Nextlink Internet provides high-speed internet starting just $39.95 a month. We live and work in the communities we serve, providing fixed wireless internet up to 500 meg and fiber optic internet up to a gig. Nextlink now provides gigabit fiber to Hickman, Pleasantdale, Seward, Milford, and Emerald, with more fiber communities coming soon. Call us at 402-656-6669. That's 656-6669. Or go to nextlinkinternet.com to get connected.
You can take all the credit and praise. Victor, who helped you with your first bathroom remodel?
I walked into Handyman, which I had never done before. I ended up talking with all the salesmen.
Did you make all your decisions in one visit?
I went in there the first time and they gave me ideas, let me take pictures. It says, go home, Victor, think about it, do your homework, and come back. I think I was back in 2 days. These people at Handyman have steered me in the right direction with the color schemes.
What was your girlfriend's response?
Wow, you picked that on your own? And at first I said yes. But then she goes, no, you didn't. So I fessed up. I said, no, handyman helped me. She thought it was really great. And my daughter, she loves it as well, too.
We won't tell if you want to take credit for your new bathroom.
The team at Handyman is here to guide you every step of the way.
We invite you to come in, look around, ask questions, and get ideas.
Vanity tops and kitchen faucets are on sale this month.
For the very best in bathrooms, come to Handyman under the arch on Sun Valley Boulevard, Lincoln. Handyman.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night.
Buy your drink.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Hey, this is Dan Bongino. As a former NYPD police officer, Secret Service agent, and a TV host, I'll bring Nebraska an honest perspective.
Hail Varsity Radio is live. Now, back to Schmitty.
Schmitty's a great guy, but he don't have a brain.
And Elijah.
You want me to speak? When I point at you, yeah.
On Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with the Hail Varsity Radio Roadshow. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Connor Clark, our dear friend Java Chamberlain with us on set here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, 12744 Westport Parkway in La Vista. Watch party at 7. We're done at 6. Real Red Reaction follows here from Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Java, good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys. This is a nice place. First time here, so this is exciting.
It's awesome. Great to have you. We're going to get some thoughts from you on, of course, Husker football and some MLB. But you and I both have dodged homecoming tonight.
Yes, yes, that is for sure. No pictures. They'll be sent, though.
Yeah, and I got hit up by Junior, and he went and saw our dear friend Uncle Nate at Gary Michaels. Hey, Dad, I need money for a belt. And it says, we'll talk. I need Nebraska in 3.5.
Hey.
So I tried to do a wager with my son, and I'm waiting on an answer. Elijah, you're frowning at me.
Well, no, I'm confused. Does he not know that there's a belt in the closet for him? I always knew where the belt in the closet was. I'm kidding. My dad never gave me.
I was just going to say other purposes. Here we go.
My dad's probably going to text me angry saying people are going to
this
mean
got
things about him.
really real.
What's that? Oh, it's child protective.
Love you,
Man.
Dad. Love you.
So the long and short is, I guess if Nebraska wins outright, he has to go shovel snow or something.
At least, I mean, he's got to pay it back somehow, right?
Right, I
mean,
think
it's
so.
Not all free.
I mean, you got hammered for some shoes.
Got shoes and lunch, and he didn't even offer to pay.
Well, man, that's how it goes. That's the rule. But how you feel about Nebraska? Or are you just like the rest of us gonna kind of just sit and see how it transpires?
I think from everything just throughout the week and how everybody's approached, kind of their thought process and what it is, it's kind of a let's see what happens. I mean, because there's so many aspects of what could be or what can't be, and everybody from their own insight, and everybody's, has a different opinion. But at the same time, it's always, I feel like the common denominator is like, let's see what happens. Do they string it together? Do we put consistent defense together? Does, like you said earlier, what does our offensive line do? And having all that. So I think this is a tough one in the aspect that it's a huge one. And going back to earlier in the show is like, I think this could turn it around and have some momentum going into it.
No, totally agree that's the key, right, fellas? We've covered Nebraska football for a lot of years, and it's always been that, well, it's like a missed tackle. You had a chance to wrap up some momentum, and you never bring it down to the ground.
And Java, whatever you think about, the real ass-kicking Nebraska took last week, the response, is that something that you can coach into guys? Is that naturally within them, how you respond to a moment like that?
I think it's always that one thing. It's like, oh, we have the next game. But the different thing about certain sports is you've got to sit on that for a while. And do you use that as fuel? Do you use it as fire? Or do you sit on it and be like, I wasn't good enough, I didn't do this? Well,
poor me.
Yeah, and it's like, well, like you said, I missed that tackle. And now it's like, okay, how do I get better? How do we figure it out? And if you don't use that to your advantage and be like, we're all going to fail at some point, but hey, where I failed at, let me get better. And what I'm good at, let me be better at. And I think if they take that approach and do the common things uncommonly well and focus on the small things, I think, then it can grow from there.
Well, in theory, then, would you say that a short week this week after a tough loss be better for this team?
Huge. I think that that short week gives you that less time because you literally turn around and it's like, we don't have time to sulk. We don't have that time. And Connor, you're 100% right on that, where a short week sometimes has that turnaround of where you can go ahead and have that, that short term, just get it out of the way, and here we go to work. Yeah, I mean, I think it plays huge in our hands.
What do you think of the youth movement option that the Rule has specifically on the defensive line? And if for whatever reason it doesn't go well tonight, do you turn to some of those young guys and get them more seasoned for the future?
I think you play it by year. I mean, it's you're going to have to either take chances, see what you have. And, with some of the changes that he's made in the depth chart and all the other things, it's like, you know what? If it's broke, fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so we're going to have to see what it is now. And you know what? You got nothing to lose. Give some of these kids, and they've got something to prove that they haven't been on the field or they've only had a few snaps. I mean, let's get them on and going and build something that we know we can.
Jabba, going to get a thought here with MLB real quick. You got Rangers and Orioles. Uncle Mark is the biggest Nolan Ryan Ranger fan out there. Baltimore's been incredible all year, 101 wins. You've got the Astros and Twins, and over on the National League side, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Braves have been unreal as well, and Phillies, just what a home field Philly has.
Yep, have experienced that personally. Getting off the train of a World Series and you got a 10-year-old giving you double birds, you're like, we're in for one. Here we go.
Welcome to Philly.
Let's sign this up. So, yeah, I think there's huge advantages to certain things. A really interesting one is the Rangers team. The Rangers team, they're back in the bullpen, and Leclerc and Chapman is Chapman. We've all seen Chapman at the rough times at this time of year. I think Leclerc's coming around. And, you got Seager back. He's been on the DL twice, and they've somehow – Marcus Semien played 162, which is absolutely incredible. And I think, the Braves are the Braves, and the Braves and Phillies, they can beat you either way. And, there's going to be some really good series, and it's going to be an exciting playoff, that's for sure.
Thought Arizona's bullpen really stepped up getting into this series now with the Dodgers.
And, I mean, they're starters too, I think. They went out and kind of figured out some things. And it's always funny. You got a 101 Orioles team where everybody's like, and you got Padilla and Rodriguez that come back and having great years and figured some stuff out in the minor leagues. And, you just got Adley Rutschman, who's probably the next face of baseball. And he's kind of changed that. And you got Gunnar at third. That's just absolutely awesome. So there's just so much star talent coming in right now in this playoffs. And what it's nice. It's like, I've been listening. Everybody's like, you want to beat the Astros. You want to beat the Astros. And it's nice to have some different teams in, but the same teams where it's like, we're going to go out and prove it.
Yeah, Job, I'm going to be a big Orioles fan here in the postseason. And tell me, you played a lot of playoff baseball. How different is playoff baseball? That's something that's been brought up is the Orioles don't have much playoff experience. How important is that once the postseason rolls around?
I think there's two aspects of it. I think the familiarity of what to expect with the media and all the other stuff. And you kind of have that throughout the year. But it's just one pitch can change the game and the momentum of a series. And, when you have guys that understand that, but then also on the flip side of it, it's like, hey, we've got nothing to lose. Nobody expected us to win 101 games.
Sure.
Like, here we go. They get John Means back and he goes 7 2/3 right off the DL. And it's just, everything's clicking for them, the energy. Obviously, the fans in Baltimore are very passionate. I love Camden Yards. It's one of my favorite places to play. And it's just it's built to be a great postseason, and I think there's going to be some changes at the top of the board. I feel like.
Jabba Chamberlain with us here. Watch party going on with Nebraska-Illinois at 7. We're here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, 12744 Westport Parkway between Cabela's and right near Embassy Suites. Jabba Chamberlain hanging out. Elijah Herbal, Connor Clark, Chris Schmidt. Hour 2 coming up. Bill Doleman on the way. Barry Switzer joins us next hour.
Inflation is nothing more than a legal form of theft. Because with every new round of money printing, the value of your 401k or IRA is decreased through the dilution of the money supply. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and while you still can, I highly recommend you consider physical gold for your retirement account. Why? Because gold provides real wealth preservation that can withstand anything. Even better, with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay no penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement funds. To learn more, text the word safeguard to 989898. And my friends from Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust. So text safeguard to 989898 to request your free info kit on gold IRAs right now.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Protect yourself, your family, and your community against the flu this season. And get your flu shot at Hy-Vee. Plus, earn a 20-cent fuel saver when you get your flu shot. Visit your local Hy-Vee pharmacy and protect yourself today. Some restrictions apply.
The Parade of Homes runs through October 8th, with 24 homes located in all areas of Lincoln. Homes are open weekdays 6 to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday 1 to 6 p.m. Admission is free. For more information, visit hbal.org.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
In Lincoln and Grand Island or online at starterheyman.com.
Super Saver has everything you need for tailgate season at home or away. Grill out with your favorite selections and serve the best sides and drinks. Super Saver, we sell for less.
Nebraskans love the great outdoors. Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Hershey. We bring you
And now.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time, Hail Varsity Radio from the Herd at Sports Bar and Grill. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Connor Clark. Big thanks to Jabba Chamberlain popping on, hitting some Husker football and, of course, some MLB postseason. It's been wild this year for Major League Baseball postseason. Hour 2 on the way. We'll spend time. Bill Doleman going to join us, the pride of Fairbury, NBC Sports. Get his take on Nebraska and Illinois. The topic, a rebuild with Barry Switzer. And he's a big Matt Rule guy. And, Red River rivalry. Coach Half 100 is down at Dallas. And we'll check in with him. Coach Switzer with us at 5:25. And then it is Clauseborne for the Friday forecast. He's imaginary. He wears red. So where do you both come out on this? Should I chip in on part of Junior and his gear tonight for homecoming? I mean, he just sprung it on me. He just sprung it and said, "Yeah, Dad, I need."
So is it tonight?
Yeah, it is tonight because I'm a wonderful.
The
dance is tonight. They played their football game. Southwest and Lincoln did last night. Shout out Jackson Carpenter, incredible game. As always, good for the Silverhawk kids. They're playing good football.
Always good to get a win on homecoming week.
It is, and I mean, maybe he's shaking Mama down for dinner tonight. at least getting some fundage for that. I don't know if he can dance or not. I assume he'll stand over by the wall like it's a reenactment of Dazed and Confused, that junior high dance. And then he'll no doubt want to continue to use us as an ATM.
That's high schoolers for you, huh?
It is.
I feel like that's kind of his job.
But he has a job. They're friends at Lazari's. I mean, the kid's making money.
But that's for buying Yeezys. That's not for homecoming.
Oh, you think he paid for his Yeezys? No, he had a tear run down his left cheek. We really want him, Mom. I mean, come on, man. He knows how to shake.
Okay, I have a question. So am I the crazy one for having the homecoming dance on Saturday night?
That's a much better, because my senior year, homecoming was on Friday night, and I never let my roommate forget this because he went to Bellevue East, and we beat Bellevue East on homecoming.
You're supposed to, right?
Yeah. No.
Wow.
No offense to Bellevue East.
Yeah, no offense to our friends coming to the Herd at Sports Bar and Grill from Bellevue East tonight.
No, we beat them.
Elijah Herbal, everybody.
I said what I said. That's more against my roommate than anyone.
Okay,
any proud
right.
chieftains out there. I'll say that right now.
Yes.
But we had the homecoming after the football game on Friday night, so you're already like hustling, trying to like make it from the locker rooms, shower up, get dressed, make it to homecoming, pick up your date, and also like looking back, I don't think I've ever told anyone in my family this. So, Dad, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I totally had a concussion.
Oh, really?
Totally got a concussion that game and was like, just put it to the side. I got better things to do tonight. And then I woke up on Saturday morning and I was like, that was a mistake. I
would have bet the money it was the old Milwaukee, not a concussion.
That's crazy. The homecoming dance being on a Friday
I wasn't
night.
21 yet, Schmitty. No drinking for me before 21, that's for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because we're going to stay out of trouble here.
Yep, nope, never.
Don't do that, kids. Wait till you're 21. That's our public service announcement tonight.
Follow
Those of
the
you
law.
that are 21, get to the Herd at Sports Bar and Grill here in La Vista. Hour 2 is coming up, and we are gearing you up for Nebraska-Illinois watch party. Follows at 7. You can always check in also 489-1240 or the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. Watch us there, Hail Varsity Radio. Twitter at HVarsity Radio.
When you choose new flooring, you don't want to wait for weeks or months to enjoy it. You want it installed right away. Hi, Steve Carper from O Street Carpet. We hear stories every day about long waits and installation charges way higher than necessary. When you choose O Street Carpet, we'll measure free, install right away, and at a much better price. Stop in, shop now. Proud to be Lincoln's choice for nearly 50 years.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street and ostreetcarpet.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Mall with Visit Lincoln. As the seasons change and cooler fall temperatures arrive, there's never been a better time to get out and discover all that is new in our community. An opportunity that will certainly excite the senses is Lincoln Craft Beer Week, which is designed to give participants the avenue to learn about unique beers being brewed right here in Lincoln, as well as brewing process and the stories behind those that brew. This year, 9 different sites are participating, and each venue will have separate events, including facility tours, giveaways, trivia nights, and more to excite craft enthusiasts and newcomers alike. Craft Beer Week can be perfectly paired with a much-deserved night out for dinner, coffee or dessert, and perhaps an overnight vacation just minutes from home. Full details and a schedule of events and other information for Lincoln Craft Beer Week can be found at lincoln.org, and please share your experiences on our social media. I'm proud of tourism in our community, and it's one more thing I enjoy about life in Lincoln. I'm Jeff Mall.
Hi, David Brooks here, inviting you to join me this Saturday morning at 11 a.m. for the Retire Smart Radio Show, where we'll provide you answers to your most pressing retirement questions and help you navigate these uncertain financial times. Don't just retire, retire smart. This Saturday morning, 11 a.m.
Smart Wealth LLC is a federally registered investment advisor under the Investment Advisors Act of 1940 and an affiliate of Retire Smart. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Information about Smart Wealth LLC can be found by visiting advisorinfo.sec.gov.
This is your station for local news, talk, sports, and weather. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, Lincoln.
From ABC News.
I'm Daria Albinger. President Biden says a better-than-expected job report is proof that Bidenomics works, but he adds there's still a lot of work to do.
President Biden says the September jobs report is good news, but he also warned about the potential consequences of a government shutdown if Congress doesn't pass legislation before funding runs out on November 17th. The president putting pressure on House Republicans.
It's time to stop fooling around. House Republicans, it's time for you to do your job.
The president said it's time to get to work for the American people, saying they're waiting and watching. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Employers added 336,000 jobs in September, far more than the 170,000 economists predicted. The UAW won't expand their strike, at least not for now that General Motors has agreed to unionize plants, which make batteries for electric vehicles.
I wish I were here to announce a tentative agreement at one or more of these companies. But I do want to be really clear. We are making significant progress.
Union President Shawn Fain says GM's decision will change the union and the business. Tens of thousands of Kaiser Permanente healthcare workers walked the picket line for a third and final day. Their union is calling for a bigger strike next month if they don't reach agreements on pay and working conditions by then. A New York appellate judge rejected former President Trump's request to pause the civil fraud trial against him so he can appeal a pretrial ruling. Baltimore police have a better idea of who they're looking for in this week's shooting at Morgan State University, which left 5 students injured. Commissioner Richard Worley.
Due to ballistic evidence and assistance from our federal partners, I'm also now able to confirm that there were 2 shooters in the incident. We will continue to work with Morgan police and school officials to keep the community safe, updated, and any further developments as they occur.
And the department's offering a $9,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. You're listening to ABC News.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first date felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Good afternoon. This is Connor Clark. It's currently 58 degrees at KFOR. A 15-year-old has been put in a youth detention center after he allegedly stole a car late Thursday morning from a nearby parking lot and soon crashed it into a pole near Lincoln High. Lincoln Police Captain Todd Cutsian says officers were called to 22nd and J Streets, where witnesses reported seeing the teen walking away from the crash scene.
The arriving officers located the suspect walking southbound in the median where he was taken into custody.
Captain Cutsian says investigators found the vehicle, a 2013 Kia Optima, has been reported stolen from the area of 71st and Holdridge from September 30th. The teen was arrested for theft by receiving stolen property, leaving the scene of an accident, no driver's license, and reckless driving. This week would be the perfect time to check the batteries in your smoke detector because it's Fire Prevention Week.
Because a lot of times in the kitchen, they might go off and you might take the batteries out and forget you took them out. So it's always a good reminder to check batteries in those and make sure they're working properly.
Staying with a cooking theme, Lincoln Fire and Rescue spokesperson MJ Learman says cooking safety starts with you is this year's theme for Fire Prevention Week. Lincoln Fire and Rescue spokesperson MJ Learman says they will do activities through social media each day that can be interactive with you. Cooking is the leading cause of reported fires in homes. It's 12 years in prison for a 20-year-old woman for her role in the shooting and killing of a 33-year-old Lincoln man that she had lived with during a robbery back in February of 2021. Anna Phelan was sentenced on Thursday in Lancaster County District Court after previously pleading no contest to a count of conspiracy to commit robbery. 27-year-old Deontay Rush fired the shot that killed James Sheikey during a burglary and robbery at Sheikey's North Lincoln home. The robbery was an attempt to steal drugs from the home. Lincoln's first forecast, currently 58 degrees and sunny at KFOR. Tonight, clear conditions and a freeze warning, a low temperature of 33 degrees. And on Saturday, sunny skies and a high temperature of 63 degrees. This is Connor Clark with KFOR News.
It's Mummy Money time at KFOR. $2,000 is up for grabs right now by entering this hour's Mummy Money word at KFORnow.com. Here's this hour's winning word.
This hour's word is smoke. That's smoke. S-M-O-K-E, smoke.
Enter the Mummy Money winning word right now at KFORnow.com. And you could be our next $2,000 winner.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. Content is provided by Herdad Media. He's the pride of Fairbury, an average Joe. Bill Doleman, the professor.
I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A and my grandma beat me for cheating.
Now with Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hour 2, Hail Varsity Radio on the road here at the Herdad Sports Bar and Grill in La Vista between Cabela's and Embassy Suites. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Connor Clark, Jabba Chamberlain hanging out with us. We say hi to the pride of Fairbury, Bill Doleman, NBC Sports, the professor. Reminder, if you're on your way here to Herdad Sports Bar and Grill or just on the road in general, buckle up, use your seatbelt. It saves lives, prevents injuries only if properly worn. Buckle up, a message from the Nebraska Department of Highway Safety Office. Bill, are restraints going to be needed tonight?
They'll be needed if my microphone is not working.
Look at that. You did it.
Look at that. I love it.
I got a text from him saying, can we test it out? And I said, no, because we'd be talking over a commercial.
Connor threw his cup of coffee down and says, no, we're doing it live.
Yeah. We're not in class anymore. Okay, I'm running the show here.
Bill jots down a note. There we go.
Well, that's a great lesson for Connor, the young broadcaster, is we're going to do it on the fly. We'll figure it out live. Hopefully it works. That's broadcasting 101 right there.
Yeah. When you do 50 baseball games this summer, I think half the time we're just winging it. So it saves you a lot.
I love it. Bill, you excited for kickoff on a Friday?
Well, I think I'm about as excited as maybe Matt Rule is. And I think as much as all of, I hate the term Husker Nation.
Really?
It's everybody's nation. Like, come up with something different. And that's more of a 4-year case of the flu.
Big Red Army?
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that. But although people might think that's more Eastern Europe, but whatever.
Might be copyrighted.
Big Red Machine, because everybody's nation, right? Mountaineer Nation, Buffalo. Okay, got it. All right. Given Matt Rule's reaction after the Michigan game, I think people have to get a sense that there is a real sense of purpose and urgency as to the way the Nebraska coaching staff approached this week. And he said, see us Friday. And I think I said on the Average Joe Sports Show earlier this week, he was ready for Friday last Saturday night. And I think that this Michigan game, even though Nebraska has never talked about one game in particular, it's always the cliche, one game at a time, one practice at a time, one rep at a time. I would bet that maybe the Michigan game had been lightly circled in pencil as to the game that was going to be the measuring stick for Matt Rule to know and his staff to know where is Nebraska in comparison with a team that has gone through a rebuild, a program or organization that's gone through a rebuild. Where are we in comparison to that? And as we talked about, maybe 5 to 8 years difference. But I think that was the date that Matt Rule was looking at. Where are we in comparison to Michigan? Not Minnesota, not Louisiana Tech, not Colorado or Northern Illinois, Michigan. And he found out in an ugly way and maybe more in reality than he wanted to maybe admit that Nebraska has a way to go to get to that level. But on the other side of Michigan is a slate of games, as I've said for a long time, that for the most part stack up as winnable games for this particular Nebraska football program. And the way to address what happened in Michigan was to address it immediately and find out who's in. Find out who wants to be a football player and who wants to play football. And there's a difference. Some guys want to play football. They want to have the nice locker room, all the bells, whistles, and toys, be coddled along the recruiting trail, and all the benefits of being a football player at a major university that loves its football program. Some guys want to play, and they didn't mind suiting up on Sunday night and hitting the other guy across the field. And I think that maybe this week has been a week to identify who wants to play football, whether it's 24 hours after a game or if they want to play Madden 24 hours after a game. And tonight we find out.
It's Bill Doleman with us here as we get you geared up for Nebraska-Illinois Hail Varsity Radio. And Bill, whenever you think about the schedule that was released yesterday, 2024 and beyond the conference slate, it's going to get a lot harder for Nebraska moving forward. And I want to get your thoughts on how important it is for Nebraska to begin building momentum at the end of this year. And maybe that's not a bowl game. I think that's still the barometer a lot of Husker fans are going to be using as a measuring stick for this year. But what is the importance in your mind of building some momentum at the end of year one for Matt Rule? I guess simply put, what's the difference between 4-8 as opposed to 6-6? Because I think if you want to get to 6-6, you need to get the win tonight.
I would agree with that. I would say if you're 4-8 at the end of this year, then you're another year away. If you're 6-6 at the end of this year, you're maybe a year ahead. A bowl game is paramount for Nebraska because that shows a lot of progress compared to where this program has been the last 5 years and 15 years for the most part. I think that, you use the word building there. I do think in the big picture of the Big Ten and what we, with the schedule that was released yesterday, not the schedule, but the slate of teams that Nebraska is going to play. And this is another thing that we talked about on Average Joe is Nebraska is beginning the process of building for the future right now. So they are in the right spot. They're moving forward. Anybody who starts to build and look to the future 3 or 4 or 5 years from now is going to be way behind when, say, that next TV contract comes out or as realignment starts to take shape. Nebraska has been moving forward at, they couldn't wait much longer. Changing coaches, building new facilities, and doing all that they need to do. So to that end, building for the infrastructure and the program and the foundation, thank God they've got people who are, fast forwarding into the future in that regard. But on the field, if there's not progress that gets them into the postseason, I think this season, then you're talking about, another year. But if you can get to 6-6, which I think they can, beginning tonight, then you've got that extra practice. You've got recruiting momentum with them saying, look, it's working. It worked right away. We did something that hasn't been done at Nebraska in a long time, which is difficult to say. But there's a lot of positives to be gained by getting that 6th win. And if Nebraska wins tonight on a nationally televised stage where Nebraska seems to always be, that's really, really positive.
Bill, we were talking about it this morning, and I think it is absolutely key that Nebraska's defense sets up their offense with multiple short fields in this game because you can't really count on this offense to cash in on one turnover. But if you give them 2 or 3, obviously the chance that they do cash in goes up a little bit. So how crucial is that in order for Nebraska to pull out a win here tonight to create those short fields for this offense that has put up 18 points a game?
Yeah, go back to last week. Nebraska started at the 20 or the 25, and they had the long field to go against Michigan. And what happens on Nebraska's first pass play? It gets batted into the air, and a defensive lineman intercepts it, and you give Michigan a really short field. That has to be opposite now for the Huskers. They need to have drives because have we seen really long sustained drives from this Nebraska football team this year? Maybe a handful that have gone 5 minutes or so. But for the most part, this is an offense that might get a first down, maybe a couple of first downs, but you don't see sustained 75, 80-yard drives from this offense. So if you can set them up with, midfield 40-yard drives to put some points on the board, and if you can just advance it a little and maybe get 3, that's going to be positive, especially to do that early. But I am stunned, and you're right, Connor. We were talking about it. I'm as physical as this Nebraska defense is, as much as they attack and fly, and it's exciting and kind of fun to watch. I just I'm mystified how it has not been able to force turnovers, especially early. Jarring the ball loose. As good as that secondary seems to be, not picking off passes and not doing it early in games. They've got to generate turnovers early. And I think we were all kind of taken aback by Tony White's comments. Matt Rule, what he said after the game on Saturday was, kind of eye-opening and ear-opening for Matt Rule. But boy, Tony White, in the way he talked when he addressed the media, just what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, was, oh man, Dad's mad. And Dad doesn't usually talk that way. And Dad didn't raise his voice.
Dad used some words.
Oh, yeah, that was.
I'm not just mad, I'm disappointed, Bill.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you. I blame your parents.
Right. Thank you, Jim Rome.
So I would bet those defensive players probably thought, we've not heard that before either. And I think that's a pretty tight-knit group that wants Dad's approval. And they didn't get it the other day. And I wouldn't doubt if, the plans to practice on Sunday and do so with your top units hitting, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that didn't come from Tony White, or at least that he concurred right away when Matt Rule brought it up. I could be completely wrong with that, but just the way I read his demeanor, that's the different, Coach White than we've seen since he arrived in Lincoln.
Schmidt, you ever pulled the old "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed" on Junior?
You know what? I pulled that card when I got back from Arizona. This is 2 years ago. A little puke was out with his buddies, and he had an Orby gun.
Oh yeah,
the Orby gun.
Yep.
And I was kind of mad at my wife too. I'm like, why did you let him walk outside with his Orby gun? Job is grinning here. Well, he was going to customize it. Customizes and paint it, so it turns into a, someone thought there was an active shooter in South Lincoln because his little buddies. Don't worry, there were no charges filed, so we're good here. but yeah, I screamed at him over the phone. I'm not just mad, I'm also disappointed.
Oh, so it was both. Okay.
It was both.
Okay, I was gonna say, how could you not be mad about that?
I was absolutely pissed, but it was a flight away. I could not put my hands on him. So I let the voice do the tone he had never heard before, and it kind of shook him up, but it straightened him up. So yes, is the answer.
That would have been a great time for him to figure out where you keep that belt. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Jeez. Okay, that took a horrid turn. But watching this football game may feel like that tonight.
Felt like it on Saturday. Michigan got out the belt for Nebraska.
Jeez. So, Bill, I want to go back to the offense here and making sure Dad's not disappointed or even mad tonight. But more so the attack. Do you try and just pound it, or do you try and get your passing game going with maybe some new faces in Doss? Obviously, Fedoni's going to be a focal point. You have Fleeks that can maybe be a different element running the football, but also a guy that can catch it on some checkdowns. You can maybe lean more or at least have a little bit better balance with your offense here while still wanting to be physical and downhill.
I think if there's a strength for Illinois, maybe it's along the defensive line. So maybe you start to work things a little bit more to the outsides and roll Harburg or Sims and roll them out a little bit more. But what are your threats offensively? I still don't think we've identified that. And I don't think we've seen a lot of innovation from Nebraska's, staff that tell me any more different than what we've seen so far this season. I was surprised we didn't see a ton of option against Michigan last Saturday.
Stop it.
Yeah, but I thought, I think that's an effective thing for Nebraska, but we didn't see it, right? But I think Nebraska needs to work it to the outside a little bit more, and if nothing else, get Anthony Grant some confidence. He was 6 for 16 yards against Michigan. I mean, that guy lost a lot of money, next season. If you can't go more than 6 carries for 16 yards against a defense like that, you go from maybe a draft pick to a 7th rounder or undrafted free agent. I mean, that's how significant I think that game was for him. But I think Nebraska's got to work those outsides, get away from those defensive linemen. Don't put so much one-on-one pressure on Nebraska's offensive line. Hopefully Harburger's learned his lesson to not, hit the window pane, but throw through the window. And right now, I think it's just expected he's going to be looking for Fedoni and maybe Billy Kemp and maybe Marcus Washington. Who are the other threats for Nebraska offensively? And is that Fleeks, wide receiver, catching some passes out of the backfield? Maybe that's a newfound weapon. We certainly saw that he's got some speed, thankfully, or last week would have been a total disaster and, they not put points on the board. But I would love to see Nebraska do something that just utilizes the outsides and receivers blocking downfield and picking up, chunk yards as opposed to making it 3rd down and 6.
Bill, going to get a score prediction from you. May get a shout back from you with the Real Red Reaction if you're up and available. But interested to hear the Bill Doleman score prediction.
Well, one thing Nebraska has to do this time around is avoid the safety on punt returns. God bless Cam Taylor-Britt, who's making a lot of money in the NFL and doing Nebraska proud there. But that's one of the most awful plays in the history of Nebraska football. And Nebraska has to contain Blake Hayes, Illinois' punter, who on 4th down and 8 picked up 14 yards while running waywardly for about 55. So if we can avoid those type of boneheaded and embarrassing plays, I think Nebraska is able to win on the road. I think the line was 3 one way or the other. So I think that you certainly take the points. And I look for Nebraska to win at 73-17.
Good prediction.
Cover an outright win, a blowout, says the pride of Fairbury, NBC Sports' Bill Doleman, the professor.
And Bill, one thing to note here. Illinois, 4 blocked punts and field goals this year. They lead the nation in that. That's something to watch out for tonight.
Well, the 17 points, by the way, that is the number of sacks Nebraska will get against Illinois, nearly matching the season total. Their quarterback's been sacked 20 times. Nebraska's got to hit him a bunch.
I like it. Bill, we'll talk soon. Thanks so much.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, Barry Switzer on the way with Hail Varsity.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Herd at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Good afternoon from the 1011 newsroom. I'm Cole Miller. Coming up, that Haymarket high-rise has been put on hold. Why the developers say they're going to wait to get to work. Plus, we're live in Champaign ahead of a pivotal Big Ten game for the Huskers. And a blustery day will spell our coldest night yet of the season. A freeze warning sets in at midnight for much of the state. These stories and more tonight.
Jill St. James for Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Fall is a great time to throw open your windows and let in the fresh air. But if your windows are stuck shut, they're not doing you any good. Install triple pane vinyl replacement windows from Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They easily open and close, and they're a breeze to clean. Call Kathy for your free estimate today and find out just how affordable they are. You could get more expensive windows from a bigger company, but you can't get better windows from a better company than Heartland of Nebraska Windows.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
I'm running a little late on my way to the football game in the shop van today.
Todd Spidell, body shop owner, terrible driver.
And I'm thinking about how repairing cars is a team effort, just like winning football games. Every person on the team has an important job to do for the team to be successful. I guess that's why Spidell Body Works does such a great job. We've assembled talented teams at both shops that you can count on to deliver a winning performance on each and every repair. Wonder if there's parking in here.
Hey, you can't drive.
Thanks.
He's at the 20, the 15, the 10. There's a van on the field. There's a van on the field. There's a van on the field.
Sorry. Oh well, back to Spidell's.
Accidents happen even to good drivers. If it happens to you, call Spidell Body Works and let us take the ball from claim to completion. We won't try to sell you a
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back into it, Hail Varsity Radio on the road at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in La Vista. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a multiple-time national champion, Super Bowl champion, and another birthday for Coach Switzer. Coach, thanks for a few minutes. How you doing?
I'm doing, Chris. I'm doing good. I'm in Dallas, Texas for the OU Texas game tomorrow. I won't go to the game. I'll watch it from the bar in the hotel I'm staying in, and I'm not going to fight that crowd. You know, there's 400,000 people outside the stadium and 100,000 inside it. I just don't want to go over there and try to get through it and all. You know, I try to accommodate everybody that stops me, and it would just take me too long to get there. And so I'm going to just enjoy it from here. I got brought about 20 people down here. We're staying in a nice hotel, and I got them all tickets for games. I'm taking them all to games, dumping them off, and they get their own way back, okay?
I like it. Barry Switzer is with us, Hail Varsity Radio. Coach, a thought on tomorrow's game with Oklahoma, Texas. How do you see this thing shaking out?
Well, hopefully hell better than it was last year. That's the worst kicking I've ever seen, 49-0. I just turned it off after watching it. Of course, we didn't have our quarterback, and we were a lot short in a lot of areas, but I think Texas is a good team, and I think that obviously I don't know what we are yet, and I think it's obviously we find out tomorrow what we are. People are always asking me, and I said Texas usually tells you how good you are, but it's going to be interesting, and I think we're in it. I think the line somewhere around 7-6, somewhere in that range, and so that means they think it's a pretty tight game, but we'll find out.
What was the pressure like to beat Texas as the head man in Oklahoma?
Well, I thought it was our biggest game, but I knew Nebraska was the most important. And I'd say it's our biggest game because it's our biggest game for our fans. We've got so many people who live south of the Red River who graduated Oklahoma. We've got so many alumni in Dallas and Houston, West Texas, all over Texas. And for them to live down here and enjoy their life here, it always helps. It always helps us winning that ball game because they got to wait another 365. So it really makes them proud and all. And so I try to accommodate them because it's probably the biggest game for our fans. But for us and the coaches, it was always the Nebraska game because it was the Big 8 Conference Championship. Who goes to the Orange Bowl? Who's got a chance to play for the national championship? When we played back in the 70s and 80s, we were always ranked 1 and 2 in the country. And Nebraska and Oklahoma had great programs at that time. We were a dominating program, and so were they. And it was, people don't realize it. There's people today, young kids you talk to, 15, 20, 25 years old, they don't realize how damn good we were, both of us in those days. Of course, Tom, I got out before the 90s started. Of course, Tom dominated the 90s, had a great run, and he stayed in the game a little longer than I did. But we both were really fortunate to have the teams that we had and have the success we had.
It's legendary Coach Barry Switzer with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. And Coach, there's a saying in football, it's a similar saying in soccer as well, essentially that in rivalry games such as this, you have to throw what you know about a team out because it doesn't matter whenever you get in front of the fans and you get that raucous energy of a rivalry game. Do you think that's true in a game like the Red River rivalry with Texas and Oklahoma showing down tomorrow? Is there an element of throwing what you know about these teams to the side because it's a rivalry game?
I approach every game the same. Coaches, the players prepare the same way. The coaches prepare. We get a game plan. It's all determined by what they do on offense, what they've shown us on defense, and we prepare that way. Our practices are the same. What we do in practice, we might say a few things different. We might line up a little bit different, but we prepare the same way every week. And I know Nebraska does too. You don't take any game different from the others. They all know the importance of it. You don't have to sit there and work with the players about this game. They know the importance of it. They get ready to play for the big ones, and they'll go out and give great effort. And let's hopefully that they prevail. But players have to make it happen. As long as you got two teams that are probably equal talent. The team that makes the fewest mistakes usually wins it, and that's what separates so many. I remember our Nebraska game. We played up there. We were the better team, I would believe, in 1978. We were 9-0, ranked 1 in the country, leading the nation in every category, offense and defense. Billy Sims won the Heisman that year. We go up there. We fumble 9 times and lose 6 of them. Yet we're in the game. We're 17-14 game. And Billy, we can't overcome our last fumble. It's only a minute or two to go to the game. Billy fumbles at the 3, and we lose the game. What it is, it's another damn mistake. So it's one of those things you have to overcome is be smart, and not make mistakes, and you win the close ones.
Coach Barry Switzer is with us on Hail Varsity Radio. And, Coach, how do you not let the emotion of a rivalry game, such as the Red River game, overtake you and your team?
Oh, it doesn't overtake us. I mean, they know how big it is, and they're going to go give great effort, so you don't even ask them to go out and play hard. You go in there, you, like I said to Chris, we approach it the same way. But everybody knows the importance of it. And we've got guys that have been there before, played there before, and it's a different game today. I really think a lot of younger players get to play it sooner, so it's not as back when Tom and I were coaching. It's usually our teams were juniors and seniors out there playing. They redshirted. They took them a couple of years to get on the damn field because we had. But today, with 85 in the portal, these damn kids don't get to play in this game or don't play on hardly any. They're on the damn portal next year looking for a place to play. And the kids don't come and stay and think about getting an education anymore. It's about how much they're going to make, money they're going to make, and how soon they get on the field because they all think they're going to play in the NFL. Only about 3% of them got a chance to.
Coach, what do you think of NIL?
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad I'm not involved in it. I'm glad I don't have the coach and recruit today with that. I think it would be okay if all the players, all 85 players, got a stipend of say $4,000 or $5,000 each, and then if you're a superstar player, to go out and if you can go get something because of your talent and ability and how you've helped the team and all, I don't think that anyone on the team would begrudge a great player of being able to profit from that. As long as they have their stipend, they got an amount of money that probably is more money than daddy made when they worked, and so it's, I think that would make it a better game, but that's not the way it is. And I've always advocated for that, but that's not the way it's going to happen.
Coach, there was a deal this week. I'm not sure if you saw it. Utah, their entire team got a free Dodge Ram pickup for lease during this season as a part of an NIL deal. And I got to ask you, is that better than what you were driving whenever you were coaching in Norman?
When I went to Norman, I don't know what. I guess I got a Chevrolet. I was given as an assistant coach. I was only making $6,000-7,000 a year. So I think I got up to being as a coordinator $12,000. When I became head coach in 1973, I was only making $26,000 a year, 3-year contract. I had the Selmans in. We won 54-3-1 when I had Selman playing for me at Oklahoma. We had won 2 national championships, 2 undefeated seasons. And, and I made $24,000 a year. And it was kind of ridiculous, but that's what it is. Coaches today make. I think Tom will agree with me on that. They all talk. I hear people talking on TV all the time about reparations. Football coaches ought to get reparations. That's what ought to get reparations. God almighty, what they pay these guys today. And coaches move for money and schools move for money. That's why we're going into the big SEC. We're moving for what, $60 or $70 million for the TV contract. It's worth being in that league. We destroyed the Big 12 conference, and all those people are looking for a place to go. You know, in fact, Nebraska got out, and now Oklahoma and Texas are out of this league. It's really taken away from it. They're not going to get a TV contact with the dam, and so they're all looking for a place to go.
What do you think of Coach Prime, Dion at Colorado?
You know what? Dion, I had him at Cowboys for 3 years, and I love Dion. Dion was a great player. I had a good relationship with him. It's special. I really enjoyed coaching. He's great off the field, great on the field, good in the locker room. I'm happy for him. I really am. I'm telling you what, him come back the second half, put 41 points for USC. They didn't score a damn point. I don't think they did. Was it 48-0 or something?
It was bad for a while, and they made a heck of a comeback.
Well, I know it, and I didn't know his son was that talented. And hell, I didn't know he's that big. He's 6'2", 215. My God, he's that. Next to Caleb Williams of USC, who's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's the second best quarterback I've seen, and obviously Caleb is going to win the Heisman again and be the number one pick in the draft. But I'm happy for him. He was at OU a while. I think of all the ones we recruited, they're Heisman Trophy winners. We had a whole bunch of quarterbacks winning the Heisman, and he came there basically because of Lincoln Riley, and he left with Lincoln Riley, so we lost him, and we were scrambling a little bit, and we still are, but hopefully we've found one kid backing up the kid we got now, and hopefully he turns out to be a good player.
Coach, I want to ask you about Matt Rule and a big game tonight for Nebraska. They're trying to get to 3-3 before the bye week. And the Huskers had a tough one in Minnesota, tough one in Colorado, and just got destroyed by a really good Michigan team. Coach Rule, Sunday, right after the Michigan game, put pads on the kids, and they practiced full padded, and it was kind of a message to the team. Did you ever do that with your guys after a ball game, putting pads on?
Well, I never had to because I never had that situation he was faced with. I mean, I was fortunate when I became head coach. I inherited a very good team. I helped recruit to that team, brought a lot of good players in. But we had outstanding players, and we won right away. We were 30-1 in my first 3 years at Oklahoma. So we were dominant, and I never had the maybe I practiced after the Nebraska game holding on the ball a little bit better in 78. But I never made my team. I never made them come to that. I talked to them more about what needs to be done and going out there physically challenging and do things. So, but I didn't have to. I was never faced with that situation.
Coach, you celebrated the birthday as we say goodbye. And did you get anything good for your birthday?
No, hell no. Hey, I had a couple of drinks. I'm sure Tom did on his 86th birthday, but Tom and I are the same age. He's a few months ahead of me. But we're lucky to be where we are as long as I keep my faculties and Matt working and picking for me. I'm okay, and I'm in pretty good health. So I hope to be around a little bit longer. So I always enjoy talking to you, Chris, and anyone up from Nebraska.
Barry Switzer, Hall of Famer. Coach, you take care. Enjoy Dallas, and cheer hard for them Sooners tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Chris. Take care.
It's Mummy Money time at KFOR. $2,000 is up for grabs right now by entering this hour's Mummy Money word at KFORnow.com. Here's this hour's winning word.
This hour's word is smoke. That's smoke. S-M-O-K-E, smoke.
Enter the Mummy Money winning word right now at KFORnow.com. And you could be our next $2,000 winner.
Husker fans, it's time to get real. Whatever is needed following each Husker football game with the Real Red Reaction Show. Immediately after each game, we go live for your unbridled opinions on KFOR and on the KFOR Facebook page. It's finally fall, and that means one thing: football and camping.
Okay, two things. That's why Fish's RV of Omaha and Lincoln are teaming up to bring you the biggest tailgating sale you've ever seen. October 5th through the 7th, we're getting you ready for an epic season with the best deals of the year. Get blowout pricing on all remaining 2023 RVs with payments starting as low as $149 per month on approved credit. Plus, purchase any new RV and receive a 55-inch big screen TV. You'll also get 90 days of all play and no pay OAC. Not to mention huge trade-in offers on your current RV. And come join us on Saturday, October 7th at Fish's RV of Omaha and Lincoln for a tailgating party to remember with free food and fun from 11 to 1. Take your tailgating to the next level during the Fish's RV tailgating sale, October 5th through the 7th at Fish's RV of Lincoln on Highway 77 in Saltillo Road and in Omaha between Cornhusker Road and Highway 370. Fish's RV, where memories begin. SDK number 74204, 742 based on 10% down, 9.24% APR for 180 months. Not all buyers will qualify. Subject to prior sale. See dealer for details.
The A Street Market, your neighborhood grocery, has October savings. Our family pasta sauce is 3 for $5, and our family pasta is $1.39 each. Honeycrisp apples, $1.99 a pound, and our family half-gallon of apple cider, $3.99 each. Lean Cuisine or Stouffer's dinners, 2 for $7, and Yoplait yogurt is 69 cents each. Shop A Street Market, your locally owned grocery at the corner of 33rd and A Lincoln. See more deals on their Facebook page.
Those crisp fall mornings, the changing of the leaves, pumpkin spice to everything. There's nothing quite like getting out into the community to enjoy all that fall has to offer. Don't let allergies put an end to all of your fall plans. At Lincoln Pharmacy, your community health mart pharmacy, we're here to help you make the most of your fall. Find your allergy relief at Lincoln Pharmacy at the corner of 33rd and A Street, Lincoln. Call 402-817-7978 for free delivery. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Coming up on a Monday on the Morning Hookup from 10 to 11, we'll look back. Nebraska, Illinois. Evan.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back into it at Hail Varsity Radio here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Watch party gets rocking at 7. Get here now. 12744 Westport Parkway in La Vista. As Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, and Connor Clark, Jabba Chamberlain hanging out. And big thanks to Barry Switzer. I can just picture Barry right now in the hotel bar having a big old glass of red. Switzer Family Vineyards. So we'll give Coach a free shout out with his wine. And he's ready for Nebraska and Illinois tonight. He'll be watching Texas OU tomorrow. Let's get into the Friday forecast as we welcome in. He is imaginary and he wears red. And he's apparently herding dogs. Clauseborne is with us. Claus, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing okay. I will say that this is yet another segment of yours where you're talking to someone who's in Dallas, Texas. Those dogs you hear are guard dogs because I've broken into the Hagar factory, which is located in Dallas, trying to sabotage their khaki pants production just because I don't want Jim Harbaugh to have too good a week. So that's what I'm up to, but I thought I'd make some time for you this week, Christopher.
So, Claus, you're the reason why Harbaugh wasn't wearing khakis on the sideline last week. He was wearing blue. It was you?
I will neither confirm nor deny, but as far as in the eyes of the international courts, I am innocent.
Clauseborne is with us here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Let's get into the forecast. We'll start off with Oklahoma and Texas. Texas -5.5. I'll jump into the pool first. I think this is all Texas. They are good. They're talented. And you can't be starting out 0-2. It doesn't bode well for Brett Venables. He may be able to recruit, but they are just a far cry from, well, what they need to be. Give me Texas 35-17. It gets bloody in the Red River. Elijah.
Yeah, I think this was actually a lot closer than that, Schmitty. As what we were talking about with Barry just last segment, sometimes you have to throw what you know about teams out the window whenever a rivalry game rolls around. Both these teams are going to be ready to go. I think it's a close game. I think the line reflects that. I got Texas winning this one by a final score of 34-31. So win for Texas, but no cover.
All right, Connor, what do you say?
I think Texas does get the win, and I think they do cover as well by a touchdown. I'm going to go 35-28. This game is usually high scoring.
Claus, I'm sure you're wearing one of those hats Barry got you that says "Beat Texas." Do you put your finger on Texas and say, "Yep, you got a big time win tomorrow"?
Well, obviously, Barry and I have had pretty parallel careers and been good friends for a long time, so my heart would really like to pick him, but my gut says that the only good time he'll have this weekend is at that hotel bar right now, unless he stops by the beer hall at the State Fair and has one of those corn dog flavored beers before the game. I think Texas wins this one by a score of 38 and Oklahoma 28.
Corn dog flavored beer?
I'm going to trust Claus on that. LSU -4 against Missouri. And I think the Tigers, as they're into the rankings, oh, man, this is just dangerous for LSU. It doesn't get any easier. I think LSU bounces back. I think LSU wins. I think Missouri covers. I would take the Tigers and the Missouri Tigers in the points, 31-28. Give me LSU over Missouri, but the Tigers of Missouri cover.
This is a biased pick from one Elijah Herbal. Malik Neighbors has been doing great things for my college fantasy team this year. I think him and Jaden Daniels keep it rolling tomorrow. I think the LSU passing attack is fantastic. I think they win and cover. Give me LSU 35 and Missouri 24.
Connor, what do you say?
Well, I got to pick the Tigers here, obviously. I think the line of -4 LSU is garbage. Give me Missouri at home. I think the Missouri Tigers, Mizzou, wins 27-20 at home, improved to 6-0.
Claus, what do you say here, Missouri or LSU?
Well, I love to make fun of the fact that the SEC is a conference of 14 teams and 3 different nicknames. They're not a very creative bunch down there, but then again, they aren't creative with a lot of things. I mean, their idea of a dating site is a family reunion, so what can you really expect when it comes to naming your team? So beyond that fact, I really just can't see Missouri getting a victory over Louisiana. So I'll take the Tigers of LSU, the Bayou Bengals.
Come on, guys.
31 and Missouri 21.
Missouri.
All right. On island.
Okay, Wazoo, UCLA, road trip for the Cougs. I like Washington State. Give me the points. Give me the Cougars for outright 27-21 over UCLA.
Yeah, Schmitty, Connor was just mentioning how he thought LSU and Missouri was a bad line. I think this is a bad line. Yeah. UCLA being favored by 3. Washington State's undefeated, top 15, and it's not like UCLA gets much home field advantage in LA anyway. Give me Washington State outright. They win this one 24-21. It is a close game, but Washington State wins outright.
Connor?
I'm going to go Wazoo 31-21. I agree. I think this line is probably worse than the LSU line. Wazoo's legit this year, man. If you've watched them, they are fun to watch. So I got Wazoo winning this one by 10.
Well, if only Cam Ward would have gone somewhere else at quarterback. All right, Claus, what happens here? Washington State or UCLA?
Well, first of all, I'm disappointed in all 3 of you. It's pronounced Washington State. And second of all, they've been getting a lot of run on ESPN's College Game Day with Lee Corso apparently making their fan base mad, and then Pat McAfee doubling down, and they're really complaining, saying, well, we've had our flag waving at your show for 20, 30 years, whatever it is. And the whining really has me regretting all those shirts I bought in 1997 that said temporary Washington State fan.
That's so good.
But congratulations to the Cougars for being relevant enough to get dumped on for the first time since then. So I think they're having a pretty good year. I think they're playing really motivated. And I think they win this one 28 and UCLA 24.
Bama, Saban, Jimbo, A&M. Saban remembers 2 years ago, the walk-off. And I think Bama gets angry, gets even. It's -1, so this is really a tight line. I think Bama by a touchdown, 35-28. I like the Tide. Elijah, do you like Bama here, -1 on the road at Psychoville? And Finkel's the mayor.
Yeah, I do like Bama on the road here. I think it's a close game, but I think Bama gets it done 28-24, a winning cover.
Cotter.
Yeah, I think Bama probably gets it done here as well. I also think it's a close game. I'm going to go 27-20 Bama.
Okay. Claus, Bama, or the Aggies?
Well, as you fellas know, the Powerball jackpot is somewhere near $1.4 billion. And I think the bulk of the tickets have actually been purchased in College Station, Texas, just in case they lose this game, so they can afford half of Jimbo Fisher's buyout. So
wow.
We'll see how that goes, because I think Bama wins this one 28 and Heaven's Gate 24.
Oh, God.
All right, hang tight, Claus. We're sorry to hold you over, but we got to do it. We got to pick Nebraska. We got to pick Illinois. And so we're winding down the pregame show here, Friday road trip here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill for Hail Varsity Radio. Nebraska, Illinois, Clauseborne. The forecast will finish her up right after this quick timeout on Hail Varsity.
Come to the 19th annual Sesostris Shrine Sportsman's Raffle at Sesostris Shrine on Saltillo Road near Rod's Outdoor Power Sports, Saturday, October 7th. Doors open at 9. For details, go to SesostriShrine.org. Must be 18.
Certified Transmissions built its reputation on the job done right. It means hard work, honesty, and integrity.
And together, we ensure our customers leave satisfied and worry-free.
Certified Transmission, the job done right at the right price.
When your watch needs to be repaired, take it to someone you can trust. I'm Dave Wolf of the Time Shop. We've been repairing watches in Lincoln since 1970. We do all kinds of repairs, from watch battery replacement to major overhauls, and all work is done right here in our store. Battery replacements and many minor repairs can be done while you wait. When you don't have the time, think of the Time Shop next to McDonald's at 6450 O Street, Lincoln.
That's right. Audio gets attention. A recent study conducted by a leading advertising agency found that audio advertisements achieve more attention than any other type of advertising, including video, at a cost well below alternative methods. Learn more about this study and how you can harness the power of audio. Amplify your brand, accelerate other media efforts, and get the attention you deserve. Go to advertiselincoln.com.
We all like to save money, and we all like to save time. So why not save money and time on your auto insurance? At Battle Creek Mutual Insurance, we offer a way to do both. Enroll in our EFT payment option and save 5% on your auto insurance premium. EFT makes bill paying easy, convenient, and there's no worry of late payments. Visit bcmutual.com today to contact a local Battle Creek independent agent and start saving. Battle Creek Mutual. Better together.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need invitations and posters printed, and they have to be perfect.
I need beautifully bound booklets and presentations for my business.
Your invitations and booklets will be in captivating color and will be done right every time. That's Staples Print Big Promise. And right now at Staples, get $50 off your print purchase of $150 or more. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 10/14. Exclusions apply. See associate or visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey, it's Jill St. James for Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Wondering if you should replace your worn-out windows? My aha moment was when I watered my flower box and it leaked inside my kitchen counter. That's when I installed triple pane vinyl replacement windows from Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're local, they get great reviews, and they're affordable.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, winding down a road show Friday. Hail Varsity Radio at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in La Vista. It's a big day when Jabba Chamberlain shows up. It's a big day when Iowa Russ makes an appearance and is buying the round.
The only problem is he's wearing his Hawkeyes gear.
That's fine. He can wear as much Hawkeye gear as he wants. Well, once in a while, we'd both show up to golf, and I'd have a yellow shirt on, and he'd have yellow on, and we get the odd look from Nebraska fans, and it was all good. So it's good to see great folks here. You're invited out. Watch party starts at 7 here at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in La Vista. A Real Red Reaction follows from here as we'll have post-game Nebraska-Illinois. Let's get into the forecast as Nebraska-Illinois tonight. Kickoff at 7. And Elijah, do the honors, my friend, with Nebraska-Illinois to get us started.
Well, the line has moved down to 3 today. And something else to note, 40-mile-per-hour winds expected, cold weather in Champaign, Illinois. That total has dropped a full point since this morning. It's down to 39.5. I am taking the unders. I think it's a low-scoring football game. I think Nebraska's rushing attack gets a little bit more done. The concern to me is self-inflicted mistakes from Nebraska. I think a Brett Bielema coach team will take advantage of those, but I think Nebraska limits those, and I think they get a 17-10 win tonight over the Illini, and they get their season back on track, back in position where you can potentially make a bowl game at the end of the year. But 17-10 is my pick. Nebraska wins outright.
Illinois, one of the most penalized teams in the country. They average 8 penalties a ball game for about 72 yards. Connor, what do you say?
Well, I have 3 years worth of frustration and home bragging rights on the line here tonight. I haven't gotten them once since I've been in college with a 3-point spread. Give me the Big Red. I think they win by a field goal, 20-17 in an absolute barn burner in Champaign, Illinois.
I'm going to say, and I hate to do this, give me the Illini, 21-17. Nebraska just can't do enough to protect. They can't do enough to run. Say it with me, inopportune turnover, and it's not good. 21-17 Illini. Claus, take us home. What happens?
Well, first of all, Elijah, what did you say the temperature at game time was going to be?
It is going to be in the high 40s kickoff.
Boy, I hope that Nebraska kid has a big old starter jacket for himself. Maybe they should have let that UTV stay on fire at the south end of their stadium, which, by the way, has been a really perfect analogy for that program ever since Red Grange left. So I don't know where you're coming from on this, Schmitty. I think this is our kind of weather, our kind of ball game. And I'll take the Big Red in this 120 and the Illini 10.
Claus calling for the double-digit outright win for Nebraska. Fellas, I hope I'm wrong.
Me too. No offense.
We can get after it for the Real Red Reaction post-game show. Claus, enjoy yourself this weekend. Thanks for a few minutes tonight.
Okay.
There he goes, Clauseborne. He wears red, and he's imaginary. It's been fun. We'll have a halftime hit for you. Thoughts on the first half, as you can check that out, Hail Varsity YouTube channel, also Hail Varsity Radio Twitter feed, and then Real Red Reaction follows digitally if Motzi's not done with football, and then immediately on air on KFOR, KFORnow.com. And we're hanging out. Watch party at 7. Get up here to La Vista, the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We'll talk to you at halftime. We'll talk to you afterwards. Nebraska, Illinois, coming up